Oh, hi! Welcome to my 7,500 day world tour video. I have got a lot to show you guys today, including about 5 different kingdoms, a mega base, and a 600,000 block mega build as well. So sit back, relax, enjoy the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you do enjoy this content. This is my jungle village, and one of the things you'll notice about this place is that a lot of the buildings, while they look okay on the surface, they're nothing really crazy. This actually used to be a barn with a bunch of animals in it, but I have kind of since gutted it. And a lot of these different houses have very little in them, because when I first started building in this world, I didn't have much experience with building. A lot of them look a little bit ugh, in my own personal opinion, but that's more coming from where I've developed as a builder and as a creator when I've been working on this. So I've done a lot, and I lived here for a long time, to the point where I've built another little village over there. But this is mostly just a small starter area where I spent a lot of time fleshing out the area and writing a bit of lore about who would live here. So if you would like to see videos based on the lore of my world, then let me know. This is mostly going to focus on touring the world and the buildings that I've done in it. So yeah, if you want to see a separate lore video, then, you know, just leave a comment. This right here was my very first starter house. It's not the very first place I lived, because the first place I lived was over here in a little hole in the ground. So yeah, I believe this is my very first crafting table ever. Yeah, that survived for almost 4 years now. Oh, hello. Oh, hold on, I don't have these yet. Hold on, I'm buying. Hold on, come here. I didn't know these guys sold them. Thank you. Great, okay, so that was fun to catch on camera. All right, so now I have dry grass. Awesome, cool. Wow, that's unrelated to the world tour, but I am going to enjoy that. Over here, I've got a pet cemetery, which was unfortunately necessary. Down here, we have my very first mine shaft, which I kind of decked out a little bit, which I still really like this design today, as a little hole in the ground. Down here, we've got a pumpkin farm, and then my very first trading hall. I'm a big movie and TV show fan, so you'll see a lot of inspiration from different places in media around my world, and you know, see how many you can spot today. Here we actually have my portal. This is a quad portal, Mayan temple inspired. Again, this was one of the things that I built in this area that I'm still really proud of, but I think I could do better nowadays. This here is the output of my very first creeper farm. If I'll use free cam for a second, you will see down here that we have it underground where the creepers would fall, and it would then get shot up into this bubble elevator, getting dispensed into this barrel. We have another little village here. This was when I was starting to get a little bit more confident with my building and deciding to mix up the exteriors a little bit and how I do them. And over here we have got a monument. This is a monument that I use to keep track of a lot of my viewers over on Twitch and their support, so they could redeem a thing that would let them get a block put in here. You know, in one case, a chicken. One of the other things that I have in here is my milestones. For every 1,000 days I have reached, I add in a block as a podium, and then a cake and a sign. But as for my jungle village, I think that's about it. I've got paths coming out from every various edge of it, and all of them lead to different aspects of my world. Recently, I have been working on improving the actual spawn as well, so if I fly over here for a second, this was something I did just a couple of days ago. I have made a little spawn. This, I believe, is exactly 0, 0. Nope, it's not, but this is where I spawn when I come out of the end. I really love this, and I do want to continue improving it, but for just now, that's a nice little area for people to spawn at. But we have a lot to cover today, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Welcome to Gingerdrop. This is my Christmas village that I made all the way back in December of 2022 now. It is a full village, complete with interiors, all of the gingerbread houses with a couple of larger builds to really draw some attention. And I absolutely love this one. This was done basically all in one go. I really went a bit crazy on it. And then later down the line, I realized I wanted a big centerpiece. And since I started getting into building organics at this point in my Minecraft building career, I built a Gumball Guardian from Adventure Time. So what you just saw was a time-lapse of me walking all the way from my starter village over here. So this is the cross-section of the path, and this is the entrance as well. I used mushroom blocks for the walkways as well as some quartz. It's a really, really bright area with some cotton candy bushes as well, lollipop trees, and we've got some individual houses. I've made my own little holiday home here, just with a small little interior as well. But one of the things that I started doing as well was bringing some friends into this world to have a little tour themselves and enjoy it with me. Because, I don't know, sometimes having this world by itself is really nice, and sometimes it gets a little lonely. So one of the things I did I just hear? Oh! Oh, okay, I definitely forgot you were in here. Okay, so anyway, I've had some guests in this world, and they get to choose their own houses and get to decorate them as they see fit with a bit of help from me. So we've got my friend Water here, and there's a few more dotted around the world as well, but I do add lore in with all of the builds and the interiors now, so that's something that I started working on more with my friends and with Water. And especially with my friends, I've added in little books with hints to their content that they've done themselves. A lot of my friends that I have in this world are also content creators, so you'll see a few of them dotted around the world. Up here we've got the town hall, which I'm just realizing doesn't have a pathway up to it. So it's not like a very planned out kind of village, but it does have some base things in it, so I can turn on a bell to be not at all annoying. Or if there's any, like, you know, invaders who want to eat the residents, I guess. It's come along really nicely. I have said that this project is finished. There may be in future times when I maybe come back to this, because there are a couple of bits and pieces that I have been noticing every time I come over here that I'm like, oh, I could fix that. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a finished project, and honestly, that's kind of rare for me. A lot of the time I end up getting distracted by something else and not finishing my projects. But this is one I am very, very proud of. But I think enough of this one, and let's head on over to the next one. The pathways I added were a little bit of an afterthought, so you can see that they're coming along this way, and they're not finished because it's a long way to travel, and especially in a mesa where you can't just right-click with a shovel to make a path block. You have to actually build it. That's why this one's kind of a little bit less prepared than any of the other ones. And just over in the distance, you'll start to see it, an absolute mess of blocks, and that is our next project. So if I fly down in here, all the way down into my Amethyst Steampunk Kingdom. This is a very unfinished project. You can see all of the different areas that I've got laid out for this. And one of the reasons why I've become burnt out of this, I actually started this before the Christmas village, but one of the reasons why I became burnt out with this project was because I spent so long mining the actual ravine. While a lot of this area here is natural cave, a lot more of it leading all the way up to the surface was dug out by hand. And I also did it without a beacon, because I really have no idea why, actually. I think I was just spending a lot of time just kind of enjoying myself, but I realized that it was turning into more of a chore than it should have been. While I do really love this project, it is something I'm going to come back to in future, because it's just not in my priorities right now. And that's totally okay. These things can happen with Minecraft worlds, and it doesn't mean that you've failed or anything, it just means that your priorities have shifted. And you'll see later on that I've got lots of projects that aren't actually finished as well. And I don't think that that's a testament to me not being able to finish things, but I am definitely a perfectionist and do struggle to finish things, but I do think that it's a testament to how the range of things that you can do in these worlds. So this is very much not much to show here. So this is a relatively small section. This is Bob, by the way. I do have some of my viewers as armor stands in here because I did that as a channel point redemption on Twitch that people could get as well. So there's a few little bits and bobs here and there. But one of my favorite things about this entire place is actually up here. This is going to be the, I guess, main castle, throne room, stronghold thing, whatever. But my favorite part of this is actually the portal room that I made. There's a way out to the roof here with some exhausts, I guess. I think I made this into like a magical like smoke coming out of here. I'm not really sure what I did with that, but either way, up here is my portal room. So we were going very steampunk with the idea of this place. So this is feeling like a very large train station. I love the gradients I did with the walls. I love the design on the floor. And I really, really especially love the portal that looks like it's kind of being electrified and brought to life with the amethyst. And it kind of blends in as well because it's all purple. Now, I'm going to quickly go back to the jungle village so that I can show you the next place we're going to go. Here we are back at my jungle village. And for this next one, we're actually going to want to head off into the ocean. Now, do I have a boat there or do I need to get one? Oh, I need to make one. So now we have a boat. It is daytime again. So now we're going to head off into the distance where I can show you my ocean monument and my mushroom island biome project. Oh yeah, we also have a quad creeper farm that I come over for rockets from time to time as well. And we should be coming up on it soon. I can see it loading into the distance there, yeah. So, this is our biodome. It's going to look a little bit more obvious when we get closer. But that is our biodome that covers our entire mushroom island in this world. It is about 320 blocks in diameter, which means I needed over 100... Oh god, how much glass did I need? I have the number somewhere. I'll put it up on screen right now so you guys can see. It is exact. I did do the maths and I used Lightmatica for it as well, just to make sure that I wasn't misplacing anything. But I only started using Lightmatica about 14 layers up after I already struggled a lot. So that's fine. Oh, it's easier to see when I don't zoom out. I am slowly terraforming the entire area into a Skulk Island because I wanted to do an alien containment biodome kind of thing. And that's a very slow project as well. This is not finished either because getting all the Skulk is actually kind of difficult. But if we just go past it ever so slightly, you will start to see my ocean monument as well, my Maelstrom monolith. This is another actually finished project in this world. That makes me very happy to be able to say that. So this is my ocean monument that I have terraformed and converted into a big channeling trident holder with lightning rods on top so that every time it does actually start raining with thunder in this world, the lightning will strike the actual lightning. Lightning on lightning. But you won't see the main gist of it until we get way up closer. This is the main tower. I did use some help from my chat about what to call this. So Maelstrom is like a whirlpool and a big dangerous whirlpool. And I thought that was quite fitting for this. And a monolith is of course a big old tower thing. But why did you go so far away? Come back here. There we go. This right here is the ocean monument. I have basically made kelp bridges walking all the way around it from the portal and decorated the floor with some nylium, with some prismarine, with some shells and some starfish, and the walls we have entirely covered in coral as well. Oh, we've also put some sea pickles on the floor as well. This is a really, really beautiful build that I am so proud of, and it's got such a great view to it. It's got fully interior as well. It's got a guardian farm. If you go into here, you can actually... where is it? Okay, so up here is the AFK spot. There's the bedroom for the Monolith Keeper. So if you just stand up here, this is the AFK spot. And then what you can do to get to the house is you can have a nice little journey all the way down and land up here with minimal broken ankles. I also seem to be still making my way through all the Blazing Caves advancements. So we just got a new one. trampoline. We got the stairs going down here that are actually kind of built into the structure of it. So we've got the crosses here, we got another cross here, and then the stairs up the back. It's the same on the other side. But on the inside, we can have a little walk through here and see all of the guardians fall down. We've got our storage system up here, so that way we can get all of our prismarine and prismarine crystals. And over here, we actually have another monument for when I hit 20,000 followers on Twitch, which was on, when is it? There, that day. And we've decorated it very minimally with some carpets, with some bubbles and some, I guess, I don't know what this is, like a blue spiral. I don't know. But either way, that is this. I've got one more thing in this area to show you, and that is the shores. So I've made an entirely custom island here. There was an island here, but I fully, you know, broke it and customized it from there. We've got the docks here, and then up here, we have got, well, the golden shores of Maelstrom Shores. Complete with a Greek-inspired house, very open plan, not much furniture because maybe that's how the Greeks roll. I didn't do much research, I'm gonna be honest. But over here we've got ourselves some tiki torches, a tiki bar, some custom trees. You can see as I'm going through this world where my development and building has come from. We've also got some shells on the beach as well. I used yellow concrete powder and hay bales to show a difference between dry and wet sand, and I think it's worked out really, really well in that regard. I'm really, really happy with this. I'll fly into here as well to show you a little bit more about it, because this was a fun one to do. And I do actually have some skeleton horses here as well that I should probably move at some point. But we are getting fairly close to being done with the terraforming as well. This is something I tend to do off camera and just when I have a spare day to chill out. It's nice to just kind of relax and break all the dirt. But we will soon be done with this, and I will be moving on to adding some more stuff to this dome, which I am very excited about. But if you guys have any ideas for what I could put in that dome, please do let me know with a comment. I am always taking advice and ideas from my community, and a lot of them have made it into this world as well, because, you know, I'm not the only creative one in the world. Now, with that in mind, I think I've shown you everything except for my base. So we're gonna head on over. This is going to be a big part of the tour because this is where I spend a lot of my time, and this is where I've put the most detail in. So prepare your butts. Now I'm actually gonna fly in through the nether here because I do have a nether hub for my base. There it is, slowly fading in. I also have my gold farm here with a kind of cyberpunky skyscraper style to it. This is actually something I'm really proud of as well. So I've got my bartering farm in here, and I've got my gold farm, which is slowly dispensing of the rotten flesh. I should probably hold on to this and use it for emeralds, but I don't know. There's a lot of redstone. We've got it crafted into gold, which comes down here, or we can get it turned into any of these. So yeah, but this over here is my main base hub. So see if you can kind of guess what the basis of my, well, my base is. We've got a lot. Hello, Mr. McMoo. I call the cold cows McMoos because I used to call them that in the car when we drove past them in the fields growing up, because they're based on Highland cows and, you know, little furry McMoo. Anyway, let's go to see my base. So this right here is Kevin Beacon. If you get the joke, I appreciate you. And this is my Dandelion Meadow. Admittedly, not a great view as soon as you come out because there's kind of a lot to take in, but if I F5, you can see very clearly that I have got an entire palace dedicated to nature, as well as a nice backdrop. Kind of doing a Jesus thing, isn't he? Okay, so this is my entire kingdom. It is very based on nature and all of that. We've got... This is where I spend most, if not all of my time. Well, I'm just going to say most, because this is my storage area, and here I've actually recently been changing some stuff about, but I'll show you that in a minute. And I absolutely love this place. I built this first, actually, after my jungle village. And I moved here, and this was all taiga. This was all that. And I made myself custom terrain. This cliff is all custom. It's fully empty. I can just fly in, actually. I added this doorway recently with a lot of my farms under here. I have got my farms dotted around the world, and I cannot keep track of any of them. So I've got a lot down here, and I've got a backdrop here. This is Ghibli Fields. This is my Dandelion Meadow. I've got an ant farm here. with complete with ants, and they're carrying food because they can. We built a giant rainbow encompassing the entire thing as well. Like, this is, I could talk for hours about this entire area. Some of the more recent additions I've made have been smaller details, including, let me fly around. Hi, Lucy. This is Lucy, munching on a glowberry. Hi. Including wind. I built wind because I wanted to have that motion shown in the world. I've included a few waves as well, or ripples in the water, a track by the boat. I've added in some ripples with the cherry leaves landing on it. This is still not done as well, but this is something I'm slowly working on currently. So, you know, happy to carry on with that. Over here, we've got a little... is this a monolith as well? I think this might be another monolith that I built off of the back of 1.21.5 being added with the bushes and firefly bushes. And this was also inspired by BOO when I saw him working on, I believe it was the Hermitcraft Season 10 Nether Hub. So this is just a small nod to that with the white and the candles and the lodestones, and thank goodness they're cheap now. But just from a distance, it looks absolutely incredible. I love this entire area. I terraformed this entire area from this into a dandelion meadow, complete with the new wildflowers. In the first week after this came out, I placed over 100,000 wildflowers. Why? I don't know. Oh, that's not a good view of my face. I don't know. I built a dragonfly here. This was actually a suggestion from chat. I have a sign somewhere in my base saying who. I'm gonna move the sign over here and put it on the tail. Oh, and I also added in something else. If you're hearing that, you are hearing sounds. And it was actually something I came up with on the back of me adding in the wind and the motion. And what I've done is I have used, I think it's the data pack that Hermitcraft has with the mob heads on top of note blocks, but I have added in skulk sensors with breeze heads on top of note blocks. So as you're walking through this, you get gusts of wind following you around and blowing through the fields. And I really love that, especially since I've done some dandelions that are blowing out towards the water. It's just a subtle thing that I've done, but really brings this world to life. Now, there is a lot more that I'm doing here, and I am slowly but surely working on doing a lot more interior and details within this entire place. Now, if I come down here, I can show you. So we've got my, what is this? My library in here. We've got my map room, my world map room, so you can see everywhere we've been, including the Ocean Monument. Up here is the Jungle Village, up here is Gingerdrop, up here is the Amethyst Kingdom. We've got banners for a lot of them. Not all of them, but we've got it for a lot of them. I actually think the only place I'm missing is my Jungle Village. I'll need to get on that. But here we are. This is a huge, huge area, and you can see where we're at. We're at Nature's Palace right now. Behind here is Ghibli Fields. And we've got two kingdoms over here that we are working on. One that isn't named right now is the one we're putting more effort into, because Firevale is kind of on a hiatus of effort. So yeah. Now if I take a little trip over to Ghibli Fields, you'll get a nice little experience of the sound I've added in as well. It's kind of loud, but basically what I've done there is I have made it so that as you are going across here, this will actually activate fence gates, which makes a little sound as if it's on a rickety bridge because it's one wide bridge, so it is kind of rickety. But back here we have got one of the biggest builds I have ever done, and what really made me fall in love with doing organic builds in Minecraft is a character from Howl's Moving Castle. This is Turnip Head. He's a big scarecrow. I designed him in one day, gathered the materials in the next, and then on the third day he was here in my hardcore world. If that doesn't speak to the dedication that I've put into this world, I don't really know what does. But over here we've got my iron farm, and where I have recently moved my wood storage. So this is my full wood complex. I'm still to do more details with it and, you know, add an actual exterior to it. But in here we have got a full multi-item storage. This was a design by Rapscallion. I will leave that link down in the description because I have no idea what it does, or at least how it works. And I have made some modifications to it myself in adding in an overflow as well, and I do have plans to make it go into my iron farm, which also doubles as a bone block crafting section, sure. But we have all of the wood in Minecraft finding a spot in here, and I'm going to be really, really mad when they add in a new one and I have to fix it. So that's gonna be a nice little joy for me to go through. But in here is my iron farm, complete with Maid's iron golem, who's really excited to see me. Ding dong. We've got our bone block storage here, and over here we've got our iron block storage, helped by a little copper golems. Thank you, buddies. Let me just boop you. There we go. Oh, nope. So we've got all of our iron blocks going in there. We've got a couple of them charging and holding hands, but a couple of cuties. And then up on the next floor, we have got my... what is it called? Oh yeah, redstone. My very clunky redstone. Oh yes, every time it crafts something, we get a little musical note, which I really, really love. Are we going to get to see another one here? How close are you to being done? Let's hang out for a second and let's see the bone block being crafted as well. It's a fairly fast farm, but it's not, you know, it's not the most efficient with the bone blocks. And note. There it goes. Excellent. So yeah, that's that. And it's something that I actually designed myself, so I am very proud of it. I'm not the best redstoner, but as I am learning, I am getting a bit better with it, and I think that's the main thing. Now, there's a couple more things to show you over this direction. So we've been starting work on this new kingdom here, and you can see a lot of the plans laid out for it, including the houses that I've been building so far as well. Now, before we get to that, I need to have a little nap, so let me fly into my house. This is my Meadows Mansion. I actually have the design up on my Patreon if you would like it, because I designed this for my 3-year anniversary of this world. So I've got a lot of my milestones here, as well as achievements. This is my very first pickaxe I made in this world. You can see, like, it's not, you know, got much damage to it, because as soon as you mine enough stone, you've moved on to stone pickaxes as well. But you always save the stuff that you want to keep in your world. Humble beginnings and all that. And this is, yeah, I really went all out on this house, and this is kind of where I started to do interiors properly as well. So you have a bit of a hobby room in here with the fletching table, the cartography table, a desk with a lectern, target, and the bookshelf and stuff. And then down here we've got a few things for my own personal achievements, I guess. We've got my dragon egg in here. We've got some loose change and a pencil in the carpet. You know, the kind of stuff you would usually find, like a whole turkey dinner. Lots of loose pennies. We've got my kitchen in here where we actually started this world tour. Does this look familiar? Does it? Does it? Does this look familiar to you? Have you been here before? Anyway, enough of that crazed ramblings. We've got my, you know, dining room in here, complete with a bar, I guess, and a dinner bell. Got some more loose change. And yeah, this is just something that I was really, really proud of. I've got my horse outposts. These are my stables that I've started working more on as well. I want to have that proper transport around my entire world as well. Something you'll notice is that I've added in kelp and some green terracotta along the rim of a lot of the fields. And the reason for that is because it looks really, really nice and like a shadow when you're looking at it from a distance. And it makes it stand out much more. And I really love that. Over here, we've got my favorite Pokemon, Shaman. This was one of the things that I actually designed in creative first before bringing into this world, because I hadn't ever really done it before, but now we have our little boop. So very proud of that. And you can see that their magic is affecting this bridge that I built all the way up, and it's enchanting it and bringing some cherry stuff in as well. And I just think it's absolutely beautiful. Now, if you think all that's crazy, just you wait, there's still more. So I did some more custom terraformed cliffs. So we've got what is going to be a fully crystallized cliffs over here, made up of netherrack and mangrove and red terracotta. And we've started work on our new kingdom. So down there is the little industrial area of my new kingdom, sorry. So over here this is actually something I've put a lot of thought into, and this is something that I made a point of saying, is that I am going to be working and making sure that every single building in this kingdom has a purpose. So this here is the general area around the mine. So over here we've got our miner's hut and forge, complete with a cart and wagon with some exports that are ready to go. So in here we've got the forge and the furnace. In here we've got a copper golem, just bringing some diamond ore away from the mines, which go all the way down to there. We have a bit of scaffolding going up to the geodes because, you know, you also want to mine some of the geodes and get some extra stuff from that, you know? Gotta stay rich. And I did actually make this based off of, you know, somebody we all know and love. And I based the character off of Simon Lane, one of the co-owners of Yogscast, and you know, he's very famously a dwarf in Minecraft, and so I used a lot of the inspiration for him here. And one of the things that I did was I just, because this is a fairly desolate area in the world and in the kingdom, I wanted there to be one thing that was alive for him to take care of, so I wanted there to be a blue orchid in here. But yeah, so that's the mining hut. Over here we've got the storage where all of the copper golems are hard at work. We've got the horse export storage house with a spare cart. And over here, this is probably my favorite part. We've got a little water wheel museum with the charging port for the copper golems as they get a little bit more worn down. So we've got a little doggy door for them because I thought that was quite funny, and we have a pathway that's really easily worn out for them. We've got ourselves the little water wheel here, and I don't know, I just thought it would be really funny to think of this as one of those old buildings that people still go to just to see how it works and get the tours. So over here we've got some wheat for our lovely little horses. Hi, buddy. And a few custom trees as well. I'm really making a lot of good use these days out of the new fallen leaves and the leaf litters. I love how it looks, and you'll see a couple of more uses that I've done for that in a little bit, actually, because there's been some real cool stuff that I've been able to figure out to do with it. So over here we have got my entrance to, I guess, my maintenance door. Oh, I think I actually called it there. Mountain maintenance. Yeah. So you can actually see the entirety of the cliff face as I've built it. It's a little bit dark, but don't worry about that. And it goes all the way around, and then we'll go back without dying, hopefully, and we will head on over to where I'm spending most of my time now. So I don't actually have a name for this new kingdom yet, but I have been working on individual houses for an entire city. So this entire area, by the time it's finished, is going to have all of, basically full of houses. I've started working on the next street already, and I have decorated every single one of them. Every single house here has a personality living within it and a house to match. So this is the bird keeper's house, and I have been writing some lore for it as well. And again, if you guys would like to see these kind of videos explored on my channel, please do let me know. I really love talking about the stories and the characters that I write for this world, so that when I do eventually release this for a world tour, you guys can explore not just my world, but the people living within it. So we've got ourselves a birdkeeper's house, we've got a pottery studio here that you can look at and see how it's going. Like, we've got a wet turnstile there. It's as an upside down shulker box with the wooden button as kind of the wooden plate on top. Here we've got a pub kind of styled after a classic British pub, and we've got the bar stools and the baby bar stool. We've got ourselves a jukebox with all of a spare, I suppose it's the Nook box actually. We've got all of the spare music discs we've got in there, and then up here we've got ourselves the living quarters with a little distillery as well that is going to be poured into an empty glass bottle. Over here we've got the bedroom, and there's been a little bit of tension, so the beds have split up. But over here we have got one last person who I'm still writing out, but they are kind of jealous of the pottery studio not having enough room here, so they've actually started digging into the wall as an unofficial modification they're doing, because I don't know, I wanted to add some drama. But we've got our alleyway down here with some little flags and a dumpster out the back of the pub, and then it goes into this next street here as well that is going to look really, really cool when it's done. But that's just a small part of this. I've spent so many hours on this already, it's genuinely quite insane. And one of the other things is this kingdom over here. This is Firevale. You maybe saw the name of it on the map when we were checking that out. This is actually another unfinished project, but is the origin to where I started writing out characters in this world. So I decided on a whim one day, as I was building this house here, what if I write some lore to go in it with everyone. This is just stuff. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to be taking that back. But this is just a lot of things that I've added in to just show who lives here. So we've got military drills, Lily's diary. This is a very, very important thing to the lore, I guess. We've got a book, 25 things to do while you're alone. I guess it wasn't really that inventive, but I don't know. Is there more than 25 things you can do while you're alone? Maybe. But the reason I took a step back from this one is because I want to try again. I've realized that in this kingdom, I've not really done that much and I started working on very individual houses. I'd like to remake this statue here of a phoenix as well, because both of these different kingdoms are based off of the plants that were added by the sniffer, so the pitcher plant and the torch flower. And you might be able to tell based on that, that's why these city streets are blue. And it's also why it's seeped into the bridge as well. Because it's, you know, it's more of a corruption kind of vibe than the enchanting glow of the pink from Shaman. But I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily go with a corrupted kind of storyline. But it's a nice kind of vibe to have a different idea than just using, you know, oh look, more streets. I'm adding lore to the kingdom itself and not just to the people that are living inside it. And I'm really quite proud of myself for that. Where's my bed? There you are. Now, we are actually almost done with this tour, but I have one more thing to show you. Okay, maybe two more things to show you. I really should stop saying I have one more thing to show you, because as soon as I say that, I immediately remember a second thing that I need to show you. But this does mean that we're going to be flying out past Ghibli Fields. Actually, I think we're going to walk it instead, because there is a really beautiful bit of engineering that I've done that I am still so proud of to this day. So if I just walk across this bridge, I will just walk up and let you hear the engineering. That may have just caused a bunch of you watching to burst into tears. If you know what that's from, you may be sobbing now, and I am very sorry for that. But if you don't know what that is a bit of music written for Avatar: The Last Airbender called Leaves from the Vine. And it is a beautiful tribute to the man that voiced Iroh, who is the happy grandpa who loves tea in that show. And it was the last thing he recorded for the show before sadly passing away. But I just was fresh off of watching it and thought, I can make that out of note blocks. And so I did. And it's a really beautiful tribute to him. I've got a few tributes in this world. I might have skipped over it a little bit, but I do have a tribute to Technoblade, to Jelly, to Bishop, and to TFC all in this world somewhere as well. Just as those are all members and named in the Minecraft community that we have lost in the time that I have had this world, which is since October 2021 now. Now this here, we're going to move on from that because as sad as that is, it's not the end of the world tour for me. It's a really, really sad occasion, and I do just want to bring attention to it because, you know, they were all beautiful people and pets that brought a lot of joy to lots of people. So anyway, this is my barn, Moo, where I got all of the... Oh, excuse me. I got all of the cold variants of the new mobs. First chance I could get. And in here, this is another character and person who I fully fleshed out and is actually a crossover from multiple different kingdoms in this area. So we've got a Fire Veil and a Gingerdrop mention in this character's story. And as always, I'm going to keep harping on about this, and I'm probably going to do it anyway. But if you guys want to see that, then please do let me know. Wait, what's this? This is a well that I did not finish building. Okay, great. And over here we've got Kirby having a picnic. Don't worry about that. He's just having a picnic. And past here we've got... This is actually the pathway heading back towards my starter base. And you can start to see the 600,000 block mega build that I did in 1 week over in the distance. So I'm going to walk down and get you the full experience of walking up on it because it is quite a sight. Now, this is obviously inspired by Studio Ghibli, and I have had a phase in which I have been inspired a lot by them and their films, and so I've made a good few builds in this world referencing it. So as I was flying over my nature's palace, you maybe saw some birds, or little small builds of birds, there we go, sitting on the lily pads. Those were herons based off of their most recent movie, actually. I'll take this slow, but walking through this birch forest, you'll start to see more and more through the trees as we get closer and closer to it. This is by far one of the most resource-intensive builds I have ever had to do. And I made sure I gathered all of the materials prior to doing it. We've got our little dock house here with absolutely no upstairs. Okay, I'll need to fix that. But as I walk out, you can see that we have made an entire tsunami spanning the entirety of one shore to the next. We've got me, we've got one of my friends, and we've got Ponyo themselves. Because that is the movie that this is based on. Ponyo is a movie about a little fish who wants to turn into a girl, and there is an iconic scene in it in which she is running alongside a car on a massive wave made up of fish. And so that is one of my favourite movies at the moment, and I absolutely adore this. I also built Ponyo's boat. That is another thing that was part of the movie. I built a few birds here, and we built a lighthouse here over here as well. That is the first boat I built, by the way. This one back here. First boat I've ever built in Minecraft. Did it in hardcore, completely winged it, and it's not the best, but I'm proud of it nonetheless. But just the sheer scale on this entire build is absolutely insane. I did this in a week, and it was 70 hours of building, all in all, because I made a big event out of it. And it's, to this day, it's still one of my most proudest. I'm still so proud of this. It's one of my biggest achievements in this world. I'm so proud. Now over here, this is still on the way back to my starter village. And so we've got ourselves a lighthouse that I made here with the beam coming out of it. We're using yellow glass, the frog lights, some white glass actually, and some end rods. And we've got a little beach down here. And I actually wrote a story for this guy as well, the lighthouse keeper. So the lighthouse keeper is an ex-pirate who has taken up residence in this, what was an abandoned lighthouse, and has started it working again in order to save people from, you know, perishing. And because he's an ex-pirate, he's not just doing it out of a noble cause. He has hidden his own treasure in the caves here, just below where he is set up. We've got some crabs on the beach over here as well. And up here we've got ourselves a little smoke shack for some leaves and all of this. So he's also a fisherman. He does all of his own stuff. He keeps to himself, but he does a great job of it. And I just love writing these kind of stories. I do this more often than not now at this point. I'm focusing less on the huge builds and focusing more on the smaller details. So I have a dock that's going back that way, and one of the things I want to do to connect this world a bit more is to add in outposts between all of the kingdoms, have different stories and builds to just kind of connect it all and make the world seem just that little bit smaller. Now, I don't think I've missed anything in this world tour, but if I have, then just make sure you subscribe so you can see it in future videos as well. Now, while a lot of these projects have gone unfinished or incomplete as of right now, I do want to finish them all off before this world does come to an end, because everything in this world is special to me in one way or another. We've got our maps to every single area and our storage area, our villager area in here. So everything in this world is particularly special to me, and I would like to see them all get finished. But until next time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys!